Alright guys, welcome to the video today. So this video has gameplay from the tournament yesterday. We ended up getting second again, unfortunately. But that's just the way it's gonna be. And a ton of people have been asking me like how to get better at PvP and stuff, to make tip videos. I've made a lot of tip videos in the past, but what it really comes down to is just playing the game and getting more comfortable with the game and however you want to play or whatever. But I did have a few things that I wanted to share as far as products go, like monitors, controllers, button assignments, stuff like that, to help you become a better player. So I figured, why not make a video about it? So the first thing on the list would be monitors. This is probably the most important thing that you can buy, and basically what a lot of people don't understand is there's input lag when you're playing on a TV. Of course there is on a monitor, but it's a lot less, and it's a lot quicker. So you know, TV, especially if you're on like a 60-inch TV, it can reach like 40, 50, 60, 70 millisecond input lag, because they want to give you the picture as big as possible and as good looking as possible, and because they're big fancy TVs that have a lot of processing power based off of making the image look really good, it's going to be a lot laggier and there's going to be a lot more input delay. But on stuff like specialized gaming monitors, it will go down to 1 millisecond. A lot of people like to buy 1 millisecond monitors. I like to. It's what I've been playing on for the past year and a half, and what I started out with is the same monitor I'm going to recommend to all of you, which is the BenQ RL2455HM 24-inch monitor. So it has a 1 millisecond response time. It has some type of little software thing where it makes like shadows look lighter, so you can see people in shadows, just stuff like that. It's a really good monitor, and it's not that expensive. It's not like $300, $400, $500. It's only $180, and that's not too big of a price tag considering how good of a monitor it is, especially for starting out. So as far as monitors go, that would be my recommendation. Second on the list is going to be Kontrol Freeks. If you don't know what Kontrol Freeks are, they're basically little rubber extensions on top of your controller that increase the range of motion, thus increasing accuracy. But what I like them for, I do love them because they do make your aim a lot better once you get really used to them, because you can be a lot more precise with that added range of motion. But what I really like about them is they really do help bridge the little gap between controllers. Like maybe you have an Xbox One and a PS4 and it's kind of awkward switching in between because the thumbsticks are very different and they feel really different, but you can buy the same exact controller or thumbstick extension for both consoles, so it helps it feel a little bit less uncomfortable when you're switching in between. But by far, this for this alone, I would buy it. You know how you can buy like those really cheap $5 thumb covers or whatever for your controller or your joysticks for like $5, $4? Those are really low quality, and they make it so it's really hard to turn your joystick around or your thumbsticks and whatnot. And overall, they're not very high quality material. They wear out like really fast, and they're made out of cheap material that isn't really grippy or anything. But Kontrol Freeks alone, a lot of times, especially with PS4, not so much with Xbox, but with PS4, a ton of people have to buy new controllers because the rubber wears off of the actual thumbstick really easily, and just you have to, you know, blow $60 every 5 or 6 months if you wear it out that fast. Or some people just don't want to buy a new one and they're stuck playing with like a really crappy controller. This makes it so it never really runs out. I've been using it on my past 2 controllers, and I've went through those over the course of like 13 months, and I have never once touched like the actual thumbstick itself. So it keeps the controller in really good shape, so you don't have to buy new ones, and that alone I think is a really good reason to buy Kontrol Freeks. Yes, I do have a discount code, but I've been using these for 15 months, 16 months, maybe even longer than that, and I just recently got a discount code because I love them so much. But yeah, there'll be like a link to all that if you want to buy them with my code, but I didn't want to like, you know, put it upon you too. But yeah, that's I think is a great reason to buy Kontrol Freeks. Last on the list is going to be custom controllers, but more importantly, just button assignments. This is what I used for like 3 months before someone offered to donate to buy me a Scuf, because they had one and they're like, hey, these are great, they helped me a lot, you should buy one. And I said they weren't really worth that much money, or to me at least at the time. And they offered to buy one. I've had a really good experience with them ever since. But for starting out, I loved using button assignments, so I figured why not share the button assignments I used and what they're capable of. Alright, so if you want to use button assignments on PS4, this is how to do it. I do not have my capture card hooked up to my Xbox One, but you can do it on there as well. If you just look it up, it's going to be relatively easy to find. You basically go to PlayStation settings, accessibility, and then go to custom button assignments, and you can basically choose any combination of things and make it so when you press L1, it really shows up as you pressing X, and just a lot of cool stuff like that. Now, I'm sure a ton of you are probably wondering by now, why would I ever want to do this? But if you play on default, just really quickly, I want to get this out of the way. You should probably consider switching to Puppeteer. What it allows you to do is you play exactly the same. It doesn't change anything else on your button settings, except for it replaces your slide button or your crouch button from circle to R3. So now instead of sliding around by having to take your right thumb off the analog stick that controls your aim, now you can click it without having to move your thumbs at all and shade step around, slide shock and everything a lot more freely and with a lot more control. But what button assignments allow you to do is play on Puppeteer while playing on Jumper. If you play on Jumper, you have to slide with circle, so it's kind of awkward if you want a shotgun or shade step and whatnot. And basically what this allows you to do, it does make you, have to press X or A, I guess, if you're on Xbox, to throw your grenade, which is kind of unfortunate. But if you have a really weak grenade, something like shade step, then it probably won't be too big of a deal. And once you get used to it, it's not really that big of a deal anyways. But now if you switch button assignments around so that you switch L1 and X, which is what I did, you can jump with L1, still slide with Puppeteer, and overall it makes it like you just have a lot of vertical control, which is something that I like, and it can help your game exponentially. Moving on to the last and probably most controversial thing on the list is a Scuf controller. Some people are strongly against it, others aren't. It kind of just depends on the person. If you have $200 lying around and you want to spend it on one thing from this list, it should not be the Scuf controller, it should be the monitor. It's not really a big priority, and you can get the same exact result, or at least close to the same result, from using either button assignments or playing bumper jumper. It's not a big deal if you can't buy one. It's not really going to change how you play that much. I will help you with like a few little things, and it might make it feel a little bit nicer for like switching weapons or whatever you choose to assign your paddles to. It's more of just like a novelty and a comfort thing. If you have a wad of cash lying around, you're like, hey, I'm really into this sort of stuff and I want to spend a little bit more money just for a tiny bit of a better experience, or you're just kind of interested and you want to try one, then go ahead and buy one. It will help you a little bit. It might feel a little bit more comfortable. You can do a few extra things that you wouldn't be able to do playing on default. But like I said, a lot of the things that Scuf is going to allow you to do, you can do the same thing with button assignments. It just comes down to what you're, willing to do. If you don't want to do button assignments, maybe you'll buy a Scuf, or maybe you have a lot of money just lying around. Then you might want to buy a Scuf, like if you're really into gaming and everything. But overall, it's not really going to change your game that much. But it is a solid purchase. I would just recommend, if you buy one, do not buy it for Titan skating. When you have to spam the paddles that much, they will wear out really quickly. Sometimes they'll break and stop working, but they do have a warranty to the point where if you break them, I think within like 7 months, you can send it to them and they'll send it back to you fixed. But yeah, I kind of just want to make a video talking about a few things that I use and why I use them and why you might want to consider using them. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I've been trying to make more videos that are, more helpful and informative rather than just having gameplay and stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Peace.